Welcome to the Say It Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Vasavi Kumar. If you're eager to gain clarity, speak with unwavering confidence, and liberate those inner voices, you're in the perfect spot. My mission here is to empower you to break free, find fulfillment, and ignite your passion. You ready? It's time to say it out loud. I've put together a guide of my top 10 tested and proven to work practical strategies and habits to help bright women like you say no, set your boundaries right, live confidently, and build healthy relationships, starting with the relationship you have with yourself. This is a self-paced guide, and I can't wait for you to dig into it so you can start becoming your most confident self, because she's in there waiting for you. Head to the link in my show notes or go to vasavikumar.com/guide and grab it today.
Okay.
Welcome back to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. Welcome, Aasheekaa Natarajan, who is one of my friends. We met through Instagram. The reason why I wanted to bring her on here is y'all know that I've been wanting to bring on more people who look like me, who have gone through certain things in their life that, you know, as a first generation Indian immigrant, we have very unique experiences that I think universally we may understand nuances of, but there are just certain things as an Indian woman that only other Indian women will get. And I know that many of my listeners are Indian as well, and South Asian, and from across the board, just because of the varied life that I've lived. But I wanted to bring Aasheekaa on here for her to share her own personal journey of what it looked like to be stuck, you know, having gone through her own personal challenges in her life. And hopefully in doing that, inspiring all of you listening to give yourself permission to allow yourself to ignite that spark again and be gentle with yourself as you figure out who you are in this season of your life. We don't have to have it all figured out. So thank you, Aasheekaa, for being here. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And like you said, it's been amazing to just build this virtual friendship through social media and Instagram. It's such a blessing to be making these connections. So I really appreciate you having me here.
Absolutely. So I think one of the things that I want to say, you know, just as we begin this conversation, that to everyone listening, is that it's not easy to just come on here and share your shit. You know, you can do it over and over again, but every single time, you know, y'all, the reason why I started this podcast is to draw that connection between what you're saying, why you're saying it, and how you're saying it. So I would love to hear from you, your own experience, Aasheekaa, that has led you to create this amazing new program, which we'll get to at the end of this conversation, because I always want to bring resources to my listeners to be able to help them in whatever season of life they're in, right? So I don't think it's a mistake that we're recording today. It's a mistake that whoever's listening to this is listening to it right now. So what in your life, like what is the most relevant thing for us to know about you as far as your own journey of finding yourself stuck and then reigniting your own spark, not once, but twice, but multiple times over?
Right. It's definitely not easy to go on a public platform and share your story, but it is very important to say it out loud, right? And it's very important to say it out loud. And for those who have that voice and the ability to do so, and if you're listening to this and that's you, I hope you do that, because there is power in storytelling and there is power in us coming together and sharing our experiences of trauma and healing and getting through the other side. So I found my purpose as a life coach a couple of years ago, unofficially, and then maybe in the past 2 years or so, officially, right? When I actually claimed and I said it out loud and I said, hey, I'm a life coach and this is what I'm going to do. But it really stemmed from my own struggle. So in my past life, aka early 20s, I was a movie actress in Bollywood. I went through all the shit that one would expect to go through in Bollywood, casting couch and male chauvinism and egos and being broke and, you know, that the struggle, the young starlet actress struggle and all of those things. And eventually I made the tough decision to come back. And I say tough because at that time I thought that was my spark. I thought that was my calling. And so I had to reckon with this idea that, okay, for now, I'm choosing to close this chapter and I'm going to go back home and I'm going to start a new chapter. But starting over in your late 20s, post-recession, when your college degree has zero value, is really, really hard. It's really hard. I wasn't hireable. I wasn't marketable. Nobody wanted to give me a job. I moved back to New York. It's very expensive. You need to make money, right? To survive. Like these are very real challenges. So I walked myself to the mall. Day 2 of coming back, I walked myself to the mall. I got, holiday gigs at Forever 21 and Express. I worked night shift and I worked overtime because pay and a half counts. And that's how I started. That's how I started rebuilding my life. And from there, I applied to another job. And I ended up in hospitality, doing hospitality sales. And I didn't totally hate it. There was a lot of it that I hated, but I knew deep down in my soul that this isn't for me. And I didn't know how to get out of it, right? And I think at that time, I was so desperate to find this exit and this escape plan that I was just looking outside of me. Like, can I join another company? Could I build my own company? I was so desperate. I actually quit my job to start a startup in the event space. And the funny part is, I never wanted to be a tech startup founder. Like that wasn't my thing, but I was so excited to just find this escape plan and start something that I knew that I needed something else. I just didn't know what it was, right? So I went through this journey of reinventing myself until I really realized, well, what is my soul calling? And through that journey of pain and trauma, first came the healing. And in that space of healing, you have to look at your own shit. You have to see how you played into the shit that you're in, take some accountability, and also process the pain and be held in safe spaces. And at that time, I didn't see other life coaches or speakers that looked like me or that understood my struggle as maybe a South Asian woman, an immigrant, as somebody that was not financially very settled. I just didn't see that, right? I was being told through social media by women that didn't look like me that I deserve better. But there was something missing. I couldn't relate to them, and I didn't feel inherently that they could relate to me. So I just dove into the world of spirituality and self-growth on my own as much as I could. I read everything. I read books by white women and Black women and men and, scriptures, and I YouTubed whatever I could. I wanted to just educate myself. I wanted to see what was out there and what would resonate to me. I was anyways on the spiritual track. I had studied Reiki when I was 13, so it was already a part of my life, but I really leaned into it for support because I didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else that was kind of my lifeboat in a way. And I wanted that, right? I wanted that lifeboat. And my mom was by my side a lot. Bless her. I couldn't have gone through that phase without her support, and I'm grateful for that. But through those years, I realized at the end of the day, it's just me and me. I have to be responsible for my life, and I have to find a way through all of the ups and downs that come. And no one is going to have my back. No one. No matter whether you're top of your game or on the bottom of your game, you have to really be in it for yourself and have that strength and resilience. And I look back at those hard days and I'm so thankful for them because they made me a tough bitch. They made me who I am today, and they've given me the strength and the courage to now be a space holder for other women. Right? And I want to use my own story and my own example as a testament that if I can go through it and I can get through the other side, so can you. So can you.
I can feel the toughness from you. I can feel that there is a very tough part of you. It's actually one of the first things that I feel when I even just because like there's like a toughness, like this is someone who has been through some stuff. It takes one to know one, and I appreciate that.
That's so funny because I always think I'm such a softie, so I appreciate hearing that.
Well, no, because what you just said was, that you gotta be tough, and you gotta be tough with yourself. And I understand that. And so, so many people that I know listening, I know the women that I attract, the humans that I attract have been tough for so long, and they've had to be tough as a way to survive. We have to be tough. We have to put on this armor as a way to survive. And I know so many of them listening, we're in a season of softness. We're in a season of being more tender with ourselves. What can you say to the person right now who's kind of like, they're right on the brink. They know what they have right now isn't what they want. They also know that they want something different, but they may be afraid to just kind of, just start something, right? Just take that first step. What do you want to say to them?
Yeah. And, I just want to add to that even through that phase of like healing and finding myself again and finding my toughness, there were periods of lots of softness, right? Whether that just meant spending my weekends in bed, staring at the ceiling, contemplating life, and just lighting a candle and drinking wine at home and ordering pizza because that was as glamorous as my life was going to be. So I find it funny how social media now dictates to us the different phases of life we're supposed to be in. But you as an individual get to choose that. If you're not in your soft girl era, don't be. For me, soft girl era is a part of my life. I need softness every day. I need an hour to myself. I need to meditate. I need to journal. I need to just kind of lay. I need to be in my feminine in order to honor my masculine, right? I need to slow down in order to show up and do the work. But for the person that's kind of in this in-between space, and that we're going to find ourselves in this in-between space a lot more than any generation ever before because our life is constantly evolving so quickly. I mean, look at the work you and I are doing. 10, 15 years ago, this was not even a possibility. And now here we are doing this work, having a podcast and coaching women. And like 10 years from now, this is going to iterate into something else. So I think really honoring the fact that you are where you are now and you have a desire to go somewhere, and then letting yourself go through that journey of imperfections, of failures, of making mistakes, of seeking help, of learning from others, of learning from yourself, and seeing where it goes. It's not a straight path anymore to just be a woman or to be a creative or to be independent or to be a business owner. It's a very up and down, topsy-turvy, curvy path. And at the very least, let's enjoy it because we only got one life. So let's show up for it as fullest as possible. But now more than ever, there is support. There are resources. There are people like you and I that are dedicating our life to this work, to helping others be their voice and find their voice and be their strength. So if you're kind of in the space of, I want to do something, but I don't really know where to begin, just start. Find someone, find a book, grab a journal, right? If you can't invest in a program, grab a journal. If you can't grab a journal, like download a free book, watch a YouTube video, consume high vibe content, but elevate your spirit such that you can take whatever that next step is, as small as it may be, and start your momentum from there.
Let's take a quick break.
Having been in therapy since the age of 12, I know firsthand just how powerful the process of finding the right therapist is. Going to therapy and talking things out with my therapist has made me happier, clearer, and most importantly, I have a plan for my mental health. I have tools to be able to communicate with others and also the tools to cope when life gets hard, which it does. So let me ask you a question. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, therapy can give you tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with the therapist. There's a link in my description. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Vasavi. That's BetterHelp.com/Vasavi. Clicking that link helps support this podcast, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with the therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing out about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. I don't know where I would be without the help of therapy and my therapist, but I do know that life would feel that much harder. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Vasavi. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this podcast. I really appreciate the work that you're doing to create spaces for people that look like us. When I graduated from Columbia with my master's in social work in 2010, I immediately went into a year-long coaches training program in 2010. It was in New York City, actually, because I lived on Long Island. I went to school in Columbia. I was always in the city. And so I was in a year-long coaches training program. This is 2010. The economy just crashed. Everyone was becoming a coach. It was brand new. The coaching industry was brand fresh. I mean, I feel very grateful that I entered when I did, because I've seen it all. I've seen it from day one. And I remember being in that room of new coaches just like me. I was the only Indian person.
Mm.
And it was difficult for me because the way I was raised as a Hindu and a Brahmin, and just the way that my mindset was, even though I was born and raised in this country, wasn't different than what I was being taught in my coach's training. But it only helped let me say it this, my mother raising me with such a strong culture and religious background actually just helped the training, that helped me and kind of set the tone and foundation for all the coaching that I had done back in 2010. But let me tell you, it was not easy because I didn't have other people like me. I remember when I bought the domain vasavikumar.com, it was on wix.com. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I'm buying like, it was crazy to me. And so it's like, it's so wonderful to see people that look like me. I mean, Natarajan, you're South Indian, just like me. My grandfather was Natarajan Peripa. That's what we'd call my grandfather's older brother. And so it's so nice to like see someone that is also doing this to help others that look like us, you know.
That's
And
what I'm married into. I'm the North Indian girl that married the
yeah,
South
that's right.
Indian.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation. But anyway, so anyway, what I said is that's a whole different conversation. Being married into a Brahmin family,
It's
I
a
can
whole
say.
different conversation. I'm like, my in-laws are never going to hear this episode. I doubt they even understand fully the work that I do. But like you said, that's
Yeah,
a whole different conversation.
yeah. I'm like I say, I'm very lucky. My mom and dad, as they're just they went through their own shit in childhood. So by the time me and my sister were born, I broke my parents in. I mean, I can tell my parents anything. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky.
I have
So
that with my family too.
the more you create spaces like this where people that look like us, younger generation. So I'm 40 now, right? Like women in in the 20s who were like, who the hell am I? You know, having someone, a role model that they can speak to, someone that looks like them. That's a beautiful thing. I was going to ask you this. I wanted you to speak a little bit more on for all my people who get stuck in decision making because they don't know what the next step is. I love that you just like started an event planning company. You're like, well, I don't know, I got to do something, so let me just go do that. Like, I have millions of stories like that, and people are just like, well, how did that happen? I go, well, listen, when you got to do what you got to do to survive, you're not going to sit there putz around trying to figure it out. You just got to do something. So speak on that. Speak on, you know, just start something, starting anything, you know, like just freaking do something. Like, speak on that. I'd love
Well,
to.
I'll tell you what, I colossally, is that a word? Because I just made it up. If not, failed.
It can
It
be.
didn't make me any money. Okay, so let's call a spade because it sounds very glamorous when people are like, "I quit my job to start a company." I didn't make any money, but this is what I learned from the experience: that my soul calling was just so strong that like where I was in my life, like I was suffocated, possibly. Like I just couldn't do it anymore. I didn't understand why I'm in hospitality. I didn't see my future, right? If I would
Mhm.
look like 5 years from now, where am I supposed to be? I knew that this could not be the space that's going to get me from here to there. And so instead of waiting for all the ducks in the row to be perfect and like, okay, I have like a 1 year of savings and I have plan B and plan C and plan D, I just after a while said, nope, I'm going to leave and I'm going to stop. And I couldn't have done it without the support of my family, which is the truth. I was staying at home with my mom and my brother, and I gave myself a shot. And I learned that, yes, I may desire entrepreneurship, but I didn't desire it on this scale and this
Mm.
term. And I think we've kind of come off of that phase of like, boss babe, girl boss, Gary Vaynerchuk, work 16-hour
Mm.
days. And I bought into it for a while. I was like, oh, this is what I need to do. And I need to find a CTO and I need to go to the WeWork events that are happening in the city and like network with
Mm.
all of the different men and like figure out how to like raise money. And there are some women that are amazing at this and they
Mhm.
have the skills and the education and the work experience. I don't. I didn't, and I didn't care to learn. What I cared to do was very different. than what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of what is this journey of finding your dharma? What is this journey of finding your soul purpose? It may not just come to you. You have to go through it. You have to make those mistakes and take that wrong turn. I always tell my clients this example. It's like, you want to go to the mountain, right? You see the mountain. It's very far away. You see it in front of you. You get into your car. You fill up the gas. You're going. GPS is taking you, but you say, maybe I'll take a right. Maybe I'll take a left. Your GPS is constantly telling you, girl, you got to go straight to that mountain. But you're like, oh, look at this nice little waterfall on the right. And look at this nice little forest on the left, right? And it's like that shiny object syndrome. And you're like, wow, this is pretty. This is fun. Let me take a little break here. Let me take a break there. Before you know it, you're lost. You can't even see the damn mountain. So we all have this internal GPS. And a lot of the work that I do now helps women connect with their own GPS, your intuition, right? Your soul calling. You have to quiet those demons, those fears, the voices in your head. The voices in your head, the voices outside of your head, the voices on social media, right? Like you have to quiet all of these voices in order to listen to your internal GPS. But newsflash, you're probably not going to hear it right away. You're going to have to take that right and take that left and get lost and run out of gas and have your engine fail and have your tire crash. And you're going to have to go through that hard journey of putting your car back together somehow and getting back on track and heading to that mountain. So no matter where you are in your stage as you're listening, ask yourself, do you see your mountain? Do you know where you're going? Because if you don't see your mountain that's ahead of you, you've probably gone off course and you've probably taken the wrong turn. And that's okay. Take those wrong turns because they're going to help you get back on that course. And when you do, it's going to make that journey to the mountain even more amazing, right? Because most of the time is spent on the journey to the mountain. You're spending lesser time on the mountain than you are getting there. So my goal is enjoy that journey to the mountain, right? For me, I wasn't going to be the one that worked 16-hour days like Gary Vaynerchuk used to say you have to. That just wasn't my speed. And I'm okay with that. I want to work 4 to 5 hours a day. I want to bake in a lot of self-care time. I want to be able to enjoy my family, enjoy my husband, enjoy my baby coming. Like I always knew I wanted that for my life. And I used to say it at a time when people were like, oh, you just must not be driven enough. And I was like, no, I'm really driven to just enjoy life too. And I need to find a way of making both of that happen and come together.
It's like, man, can I enjoy my life? Like someone asked me this the other day and I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to enjoy my day. Like I've had the most enjoyable day. I've been committing to 10K steps, right? And I've been slammed. You know this. I made everyone know how slammed I am. I've never been this slammed in my fucking life with this book launch. I go, okay, guys, I need you to hear this. Aasheekaa and I, God knows how much we went back and forth trying to schedule. And I felt so bad, by the way, because I'm like, I have never been this person that's like, sorry, I don't have time here. I don't have time here. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't like being this person.
But can we just acknowledge how everything worked out seamlessly still?
Yeah, it did work out, but I'm in the season, like you said, I'm slammed and I just want to get in my 10K steps. I've been getting them in between my calls and I'm like, let's make this enjoyable. If it's not enjoyable, if it's not pleasurable, I don't want to do it because I'm too sensual of a being to just be, like cringy. I can't, the work that I do, I can't have cringe. I don't want that in my life, Exactly. So I want to just say thank you for accommodating that. And what you said
thanks for fitting me in. I'm very excited for.
No, but I hate when you say fitting me in because I feel like such a bitch. I feel so bitchy when I hear those words.
I want this for you. Like 1 year from now, you're going to be so busy that I'm going to have to talk to your EA to get time on your calendar. Like it's a good thing. It's a great thing. I want that for you. I want that for me.
Thanks for, guys, we were not planning to even conversation go there, but yeah, that's something really real. Like I've been feeling like I've been working through a lot of guilt. Like someone asked me, do you have time to FaceTime? And I literally wrote back, no, I said, I have zero time. I said, I have zero time. And could I have made the time? Yeah, but I don't want to. I have zero time that I'm willing to give. That's what I really mean.
But guess what? It's only us women that go through that amount of guilt, because if you ask a really busy man who might be in the middle of something, like they're probably not even going to reply to you.
Yeah, exactly. So can I tell you this? I'm actually giving myself permission to, I'm like, I only check my Voxers twice a day now. If I
Right.
need I say to all my clients, I respond to you within 24 hours. I actually give myself a full 24 hours to respond,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been feeling good. I want to say something that I want to end our like conversation part with this and then get into your program a little
Okay.
bit after this. You said something about, take those wrong turns. And I want my audience listening because I say this too. So I want to piggyback off of that. Take those wrong turns and also know that there's no such thing as a wrong turn, because if every turn that you make is just leading you back to yourself, you got to go somewhere, right? So let's take those wrong turns, wrong in air quotes, because there are no wrong turns, right? Because listen, if I didn't struggle with cocaine, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I didn't have that toxic relationship, I wouldn't be where I am today. Anything out of place, even by like a second or even just like a fraction of what it is, I would not be who I am today. And I
Yeah,
really freaking love
absolutely.
who I am
And I
today.
apologize. I hate using like good, bad, wrong,
No,
right.
no,
So,
no, no.
but
Mhm.
exactly like what I'm trying to say is right. Like that waterfall looks great and the forest looks great, but like you only realize you're off track when you're actually off track. And so
Yeah.
when I see people or meet people that say like, "Oh, we've never had any challenges and never have any struggle in our life," I'm like, "Wow, you're a unicorn. Where do you come from?" And I'm sorry, sister or brother, but like life's going to hit you hard one day because life hits all of us hard. It's just a matter of time. If it's not happened in your story yet, it may happen later, right? And so, like, that it's a good thing because it's just going to make you that stronger, wiser, deeper person. I don't think
Mhm.
I've ever come across anyone who's been on the spiritual self growth path that hasn't experienced a lot of shit
Mhm.
themselves, right? Like they've had to go through it to grow through
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, I love me some. I love musical ways to remember things. Okay, I want to ask you this for, I always encourage my audience, always listen to my guests and pay attention to how their words feel inside of you, because words carry vibration. And
Mm.
if anything that Ashika has been saying has been resonating with you, then keep listening, because I'm going to ask Ashika a few questions about her upcoming program. And if it's for you, then it's for you. Give yourself a shot. I'll put the link in the show notes. You can learn more about the program. You can reach out to Aasheekaa on her Instagram, and I'll make sure Aasheekaa gives more information about how you can contact her. So Aasheekaa, I want to ask you this: for the person who wants to ignite her spark and get unstuck, get out of her own way, and really start to move forward in this world with the spark that is her, what's the question that she's thinking about right now? Where is she right now in her life? Like, what's the question that just keeps, bouncing around in her head right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I
Mm-hmm.
think the question that she's probably keeping her up at night right now is like, what is next for me? Where do I
Mm-hmm.
even go from here? Right. And so she might be a woman that feels like I'm at the wrong job, or I'm at an intersection in my career, or a common thing I've been seeing a lot lately with many of my clients is they feel behind as they see their friends and peers getting married and having children and kind of moving into this next step of their life, and they're feeling a little bit behind. So when you get caught in this funk of like, what's next for me? It's a very low energy space to be in because it's riddled with doubt and
Mm-hmm.
fear. And fear and doubt just create more fear and doubt, right? And so it's a beautiful testing space for you to be in, because that question can actually also be reversed to say, what is next for me, right? With that excitement and enthusiasm. And once you make that switch, you realize, well, there are a lot of things that are next for me. Like there's a lot of possibilities that await me. What do I really want? And it becomes less of, well, what's available for me from a place of desperation, and more of, well, what are the possibilities that I want to bring into my life from a place of creation and excitement? So my group coaching program, Ignite Your Spark, we go live on the 28th, and it's a 10-week group coaching program. And it's really designed for this woman that is stuck. She's in this flux. She's not sure what's next for her. And the goal is by the time she's out of this program, she's very clear. She's clear of the possibilities that exist and are available for her. She's also done a lot of healing work. We do a lot of healing work in our programs, whether it's speaking to your inner child or forgiving those that have hurt you, and reconnecting with just old visions of yourself before they were kind of colored with that fear and doubt, creating new visions for yourself. So we go through this journey of healing, exploration, self-growth, and we do it in community. And it's really, really powerful to do it in community with like-minded women, because all of a sudden you realize, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. And I had to go through my healing journey alone at that time. And I wish I was able to do it in a community with like-minded women that understood the immigrant, women of color experience of being raised, in this country and being told by our families and society at large how we should be and how we should feel. So there's a little bit of undoing and redoing, right? We get to unpack that and then create these possibilities for ourselves.
Where can people learn more about your program?
Instagram, DM me, send me a DM. I'm going to be doing calls this week and next week. So if this is exciting to you and you want to hop on a quick 10-minute chat just to learn more, DM me at Aasheekaa with all of the A's and E's. I know Vasavi will link it. I'd love to speak with you and tell you a little bit more about it, and also just make sure it's the right fit. If I don't think it's the right fit for you, I will be the first to say, because the energy of the group coming together is as important to me. And last time we did it with 6 incredible women. This time there's space for 10 incredible women. And I want to make sure that, it's the right fit for all of us.
Okay, this is so exciting. I want to put all the information in the show notes. And I have one last question, because is this just for South Asian women or can anyone join?
It's not. It's really for anyone. I mean, I would love for my message to be even broader. Up till now, I am attracting a lot of South Asian women. And I think that's also really cool too, because, Desis haven't seen Desis doing this, but we're an inclusive space. So.
Okay, beautiful. That's just good to know, because for anyone listening, they might wonder. So y'all, that I have a very diverse audience. In fact, I don't ever really have a lot of Indian people in my programs, maybe 1 or 2 every so often, but I don't know what it is. So I wanted to make sure that my audience knew, if y'all resonate, if this is like, you just, you've been looking for that, like, man, I just need a container. This resonates with me. I like her style. And I want to, then, okay, I have to finish that thought. Go to the show notes, click on Aasheekaa's DM, send her a message. I want to say this as a voiceover artist. I really appreciate what you said about, you can ask this question, what's next for me? And it can feel all dark and shit, right? Everything is, guys, tone, texture, quality, inflection, pitch. This is everything that I learned in voiceover and just me playing with my voices. Or you can say, what is next for me? You play with your voice to get the feeling that you want. That's right. Everything we talk inside the Say It Out Loud book. It's about playing with your voice, using your voice to reconnect with yourself. And you can do that even with this, igniting your spark instead of, what's next? Woe is me. Like, you can literally use your voice to shift those words, to change that tone for you to feel and ignite your own spark using your own voice. And you don't have to do it alone. So check out Aasheekaa's program.
Thanks for pointing that out. I guess, the actress and the host in me is still very much alive.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I point that, everything's about playing with your words. So that's what the book is about. Say it out loud. That's what you're going to be helping women with inside your group. Ignite your spark. So go ahead, link in show notes. And Aasheekaa, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the Say It Out Loud podcast.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you holding this space for me, again, to be supported by a fellow Desi woman who is kind of in a similar space of work too, and still giving me this platform to share my offerings and letting me speak to your audience. It's very gracious and generous of you. So I thank you. Congratulations on your book. And next month, you're going to be on my podcast, Always Aligning. So I'm excited to have you on my podcast. And before that, hopefully I get a chance to grab a copy of your book and dive a little bit deeper.
Well, thank you. Yes, this is all we're doing. We're just helping each other out using our platforms. That's really what this is about. That's what's the point of having a platform called Say It Out Loud if you don't allow people to come on and say it out loud. So it's like, I kind of put myself in a hole here, but it's a great hole and I love being in it, Yep. So thank you so much for being here.
Say it out loud and let's ignite your spark together.
I love that. Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Say It Out Loud podcast. If you love today's episode, then say it out loud. Subscribe, leave a review, and come say hi over on Instagram at My Name is Vasavi. Until next time, say it out loud.